Well, here we are, the so-called experts on the deck. We're back on the deck, Rafe.
We are back on the deck, but it's not quite the deck we've been used to
No,
in
it's a
previous
different deck.
weeks. We're out at the Geckos.
We are, Bellbowrie Sports Club, I believe it's called, and it's very interesting. We're here for the FFA Cup tonight, and they don't have any goals, so it's going to be a nil or draw. Well, even penalties would be useless, wouldn't it?
Indeed it will.
Actually, there's a small field over there. We thought they might take Lions on the under-8s field.
6-a-side?
Well, why not? Lions have only got enough to fill that quota, I believe, at the moment. Anyway, we're the so-called experts. We're sitting here on the veranda and we're talking, and we're going to look back at games from last week. We're going to look at games from last night, and we're going to look at games for next weekend. But we have a very special guest here. We travel all the way out to Bellbowrie, which I've never been to before. It's bloody miles. And once again, it's Mr. Warren Moon, the coach of Lions FC. Good afternoon.
Afternoon, boys. Thanks for having me.
Is it afternoon?
Just about.
Yeah, it's just about afternoon. Well, it's a big game tonight. There's no question about it. People think you're going to beat Moggill. Everyone thinks you're going to beat Moggill, but you've got a few squad problems there.
Yeah, we're just a few little changes tonight. But look, whether we have or we haven't, it's going to be a tough game tonight. They beat Olympic 4-1 in the last round, so it's not a walk in the park. We've got to come here and get the job done, and they're quite a good side. So a little bit nervous, a little bit anxious about tonight's game, and looking forward to it as well.
Yeah, it looks like there's going to be a good atmosphere here. They've got the beer tent. I imagine that Lions FC will draw quite a big parochial crowd. There's a couple of people in the drinking area already. Might be giving you a bit of bother, but just back to the team. Jack Lewis, massive loss.
Yeah, massive loss. Jack was fantastic for us, and yeah, we're feeling that. And look, we've lost a few this year. It's quite an unusual season for us. We're going well, but you know, it all started from the Silver Boot final with Matia, with that leg break, and it's been a steady stream of players go every couple of weeks for varying reasons. You know, Andre going to Peninsula for obviously his own personal reasons to stay in the country, and obviously we lost Jack, which is a huge loss, and we've lost others along the way as well. So yeah, but we get on with it and make no excuses. We're here to win tonight, and hopefully we get the job done.
Well, it's not all leaving, is it? Let's be honest. Out at Lions FC, you have attracted a few players as well along the way. Tynan Diaz is not too bad. He's quite handy.
Yeah, Tynan's not bad.
Yep.
He's all right.
Yeah, he's not bad. You've got a reputation for a wheeler and dealer.
Yeah, well, a Spurs fan, so you know, I look after Harry Redknapp, and you know, sometimes you got to do it, sometimes it's necessary, and yeah, we've had to bring in a couple of players to counter the loss of some players, and who knows, there might be another couple of announcements as well along the way. So.
Yeah, I suspected that might happen. Rafe, are you alive?
I am alive. I'm just letting you two enjoy the moment.
I was just wondering if you're over there, if your headphones were plugged in or your microphone.
I'm definitely here.
Yes. Well, look, we might take a look back at the games from the weekend because it was a very important round of games. The first one was Peninsula Power versus Ipswich Knights, 4-3 to Peninsula Power.
Yeah, come from behind victory. I think they came from behind a couple of times, didn't they?
They did, indeed. And 2 late goals to my man, Kato Aochi, right at the end of the game. And what a finish. I mean, I was at Capalaba, and a couple of the lads out there were talking, went, oh, Peninsula won, 3-2. It didn't happen. What do you think about Peninsula, Mooney?
Oh, look, it's...
do you think they're hot on your trail now?
I think they're a good side. They've been a good side from day one. They just they needed, obviously, to start well, I guess. They didn't. They've made a change now, and I believe from what I hear, there's a happy change room now, and they're all moving forward together. They're backing the new coach, and the new coach is excellent. I know him well from my time at Peninsula, and I know he's going to do a good job with them. Mm-hmm. And they're playing for him. And I think that's the key difference. They're playing for him, and that goes to show. 3-2 down with 10 men, you win 4-3. So that's going to give them a huge confidence boost for the rest of the season. Oh,
isn't it? And I thought they were really good against East the week before. So, yeah, they are definitely, they're definitely off. They'll be top 4 for me. The next game was the Battle of Terralba Park, which is not the same without Sam Saif, is it? Not much. Sam, of course, off at Sunshine Coast Fire now, and Terry's off at Olympic in the NPL. And they played each other during the week.
Yep.
You would have followed that, wouldn't you?
Not really.
No, not really.
Not really. No, the league is certainly poorer for not having Sam in it. He's a character. Always like coming up against Sam. We had good battles last year, and you know he was he stressed. Obviously, we were the one team that we couldn't beat Mitchelton last year on our way to win the league. So he always reminds me of that as well.
We've come up against both coaches. Which coach do you think's better, Harry Kirkle or Sam Seif?
Oh, I'm not going to answer that. All I'll say is that my record against Sam is well, not so much record, but every time you play a Sam Seif coach side, it's a physically draining experience. The way he sets his sides out, and those battles we have with those Wolves teams over the years, and Scotty will probably say the same. Is that mentally and physically, you just walk away exhausted from those games, and you know you've been in the battle.
It's the same having a conversation with Sam. Mitchelton beat Logan Lightning 2-1. Logan FC were up 1-0 and Mitchelton came back. Very important result.
Yeah,
they are now, second?
Yeah, I was out of that
Third.
game. We can skip straight to the second half because the first half was absolutely woeful. So Logan took the lead through Richard Greer.
Yep.
And if you wanted to look up goal against the run of play, you'd look that up in the dictionary because it was very much against the run of play. But then Stephen Chester scored the equaliser.
Yep.
And the winning goal came when, and there's a bit of controversy because Stephen Chester may have been in an offside position in the way on the ball that came in from Chris Swain.
Oh, well,
so Mitchelton picked up the 3 points.
Vital
They're
3 points.
in third position.
Yep, vital 3 points that was. You know, Mitchelton to stop any point. 3 points are vital at the moment for those teams around there. The next game, Holland Park Hawks 2 defeated Rochdale Rovers 0. Rochdale without Luke Howell and Paul Mooney, of course, and a few others. So I don't know what you can read into that because they're both really crucial to their side. Holland Park Hawks, they'd be number one contenders, wouldn't they, Mooney?
Yeah, they're the best side in the league.
Apart from Lions.
Well, if you want to say that for us, what we've played, I don't think Benny can talk himself down anymore.
No, he can't.
You know, they've got quality in every position. Players that other clubs want.
Briggs, McCaskill, players like that.
Briggs, McCaskill. They've got 3 choices of central strikers, great defenders. Dan Smith. Oozes quality all over the park. And I think that's how it looks right now. This is a crucial next 5 weeks. But I'd say that if people call us favourites, they'd be up there contending with us.
Yeah, I agree with you now. Rochdale, they can't take too much out of that. We'll talk about Rochdale last night, that game last night, a bit later. Capalaba versus Wk13. Capalaba 5, Wk13 2. I was out at that game, and it was over by about 20 minutes. Capalaba scored 3 goals. UQ stepped their game up. They like to defend. They defend as best they can. They didn't really look like scoring. Both goals were from broken play. From set pieces. They had a lot of shots, but most of them were just straight to the keeper. I think Yuki are in deep, deep trouble, and Hamid Azawi is going to be on everyone's radar, I would imagine. In fact, he's already on. It's no secret that Moreton Bay tried to sign him, and he elected to stay at Capalaba, and he is quality. But they have other great players in the side too. You know, the Sam Fellows and Sam Watt are both playing excellent, and Luke Watson shouldn't be underestimated in defence.
Got a good coach as well.
They do have a good coach.
He's done, fair play to Herf. He's done a great job this year.
Yeah.
Players left and what he's done with them, he deserves a fair bit of credit.
He is the most laid-back coach ever. I was watching him during the game. He was just sitting on his little fold-up chair with his arms folded, leaned back. I wasn't even sure he was awake, to be honest. He just. The next game was Lions FC 2, North Pine 0. 72% possession to Lions, which is not out of the ordinary, really.
Oh, it's only 2-0. So you can have all the possession you like, but it doesn't mean it gets you anywhere. But we won 2-0, and it's a big week for us tonight and then the weekend. So I'm not going to complain. We'll take the win and we move on.
And you stole Tommy Hunter and he scored a goal for you.
Yeah,
well, not stole.
I don't
You
think I
bought
stole
Tommy
him.
Hunter.
He'd left the club weeks earlier, I think, and he'd moved to Mount Gravatt. So once I was made aware, I sort of got him across, and he scored a nice goal.
Was there a bit of rustiness after having 2.5 weeks off?
Yeah, I think so. I was disappointed about, as much as I love football Brisbane, I was really disappointed with that decision. I felt they could have worked harder to get their game to go ahead, and it didn't help us. And in a way, this game might help us tonight, getting back a couple of games in a few days and then going into a big month for us. So, but certainly, it did feel like we were a little bit sluggish in the game against North Pine. Yeah,
this is the biggest month for you, for sure, this year. And it's probably have the biggest effect on your title chase. Do you think that's a fair comment?
I agree, yeah. I think we're like everyone right now. There's the way the draw was last year and this year.
Yeah.
There was a tough start for us last year and the same this year. We're going to go into our next 4 or 5 matches against the toughest teams. And we come out of that in a positive way, we can be in a strong position, or if it's a negative way where we're having to fight, we might even be behind someone. So it's a massive 5 weeks for us.
Yeah, having the game against UQ, I mean, you would have preferred to play it at the time, but it's actually a bit of a bonus for you now, I think, having that up your sleeve.
Oh, yes and no. Again, Football Brisbane have changed the structure of the Canale Cup. So, again, I'm not critical, but there'll be more games now in the June-July period when we play that catch-up game, and it's always nice to have points on the board. I would much rather have played it. And we're in the Canale Cup now, being one of the 10 teams to have qualified. So,
you just got to hope you get the draw. You don't have to play that extra game, really.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing as well. We get the extra game, and then we're really going to get not many breaks in between it all. We'll be able to midweek games, and then that catch-up game comes up as well. So
the last game of last weekend was Albany Creek 1, Eastern Suburbs 3, and I think everyone in the whole world saw that coming because, frankly, Albany Creek don't have any players, so they had their crucial players out, the goalkeeper, the centre-back, and they had their Declan Morris was out, and also Cameron Miller was out as well.
An epic battle between Chomarop of Albany Creek and Tom Carroll.
Oh, you were there, weren't you?
No, we called that game. It was one of our FBTV games. And once again, Tom Carroll in outstanding form.
Who's he playing for now?
Yes.
Yeah, I know. I got it wrong last week. Look, he's got to be the best goalkeeper. Well, Phil Zadax will have a word to say about that. But Carroll's been in just some stunning saves this season,
Tommy's a good keeper. He's a great shot stopper. I know him well from my time at East when he was just a youngster. But in terms of shot stopping, there's not many better around. He's very good at it.
Indeed. Eastern Suburbs will be happy to get 3 points, I'm sure, if nothing else,
Buy themselves another week in trying to stay in the finals race.
All right, well, that was what happened last week in the Flight Centre Premier League. Last night was the Westfield FFA Cup, and Rafe, you ventured out to Spencer Park.
I did.
And you saw Redlands United beat Brisbane City 1-0.
By an own goal. And
an own goal, was it?
It was an own goal.
It's always a good way to lose, isn't it?
And that was pretty much all there was in the game. There wasn't a lot of opportunities, really. Those two teams had only played on Friday night. 9 yellow cards in that league game on Friday night, and it come out on last night, on Tuesday night, in a very timid affair. And overall, I think that was the right result. Redlands did dominate what was in the game. So they progressed through to round 7 against the other game last night.
Which was completely the opposite. It was just an adrenaline rush, spectacle, big crowd at Roachdale, up against the NPL premiers, and it started with a rush. Like as Mooney mentioned before the game, they play a different structure sometimes, which they did, not before the game, for the show, and they did. They came out of the blocks, Moreton Bay United, and they could have scored 3 goals, and they were playing the long ball, and everyone was going, what the... And they stuck with it for the whole game, but it was not because of true choice. They stuck with it for the whole game because they couldn't get the ball off Roachdale. Roachdale was simply, that's the best performance they put in this year. I mean, there's no doubt about it. Mooney was fantastic. Phil Davis, just sensational. It was just like they were linked together, And, of course, 1-0 to Moreton Bay United after 10 minutes, and then a goal in the 88th minute which sent the veranda rocking, and a goal in the 93rd minute which sent the veranda off its stumps and down the hill, and the players all doggy-piled in front of the stand. It was great, and people were just... There was some very acerbic comments.
And a Roachdale favourite, Greg Cheshire, scoring both goals.
Scored both goals, and they were both scrappy goals from set pieces. I think Paul Mooney must have had about 15 set pieces where he whacked it into the box, and, and they could have scored 2 in the first half. Greg Cheshire had a great chance. Scott Sargent played the best game of the year, I thought, for him. Darryl Grant played the best game of the year, I thought, for him. I was still adrenaline rushing. I woke up this morning, and I swear to God, the first thing I thought was, that was a great game. So, Scotty Mack would be happy with that, wouldn't he, Mooney?
Yeah, he's
you know him reasonably well.
I spoke to him pretty early, and look, I'm really pleased for him. Yeah. You take out NPL, BPL, and all that kind of rubbish. I'm just pleased for Scotty and what he's doing there. And I know that he's really excited by the fact that he could get Roachdale on the national stage, one game away, and I'd love him to do it. I think that on their day and their best 11 is as good as anyone's going around. And we play them this weekend, so I'm kind of hoping there's some injuries out of that game. But no, they're a good side, and really pleased for them.
Well, look, from my point of view, I'd love to see Roachdale and Lions on the national stage. I know I'm BPL biased, but that's what I do. I will Flight Centre Premier League bias.
So Roachdale Rovers now travel to Redlands for round 7.
Yes.
And Redlands will be hoping it's not a repeat of last year where they had red-hot go against the Strikers and got knocked out. So,
Yes.
yeah, it should be a very, very, very good match down at the Cleveland Showgrounds when it does come up.
I think the result from last night for Rochdale, that might give the Capital League sides a little bit of impetus tonight. You know, they think, well, look, if we can beat these sides, particularly Southside Eagles, they've got a chance of beating Strikers down at Memorial Park, haven't they?
Anyone's got a chance. You know, we're not unbeatable. We're not. You know, people keep saying this and that of us. We're not unbeatable. You know, Moggill can beat us because they've proven they can beat an NPL side. They can come here and beat us. There's no doubt about that. We need to play well, just like the Strikers will need to play well tonight. So we're not going to disrespect anyone, and I'm sure the Strikers wouldn't as well because they could get burnt.
Well, you know what it's like. A couple of red cards and everything changes. But I can't see. Well, look, honestly, tonight, obviously Mooney's think Lions is going to beat Moggill, and we both think that Lions and Strikers are going to get through. But I think people will be watching their phones very closely if they're not actually at the games. And that is the magic of the Cup for me, is that the interest is there. And, you know, you get to some games and it's just nothing. Well, last night there were drums and, you know, people drinking in the middle of the week. Not me, but, you know, other people. And, anyway, that's the Westfield FFA Cup. We're going to look forward to look towards the games this weekend. We do like to get our tips. Mooney has to get on his way and do some coaching stuff at some point soon. And, of course, it's very important because we're back to where we started from. Now, I was looking through the games earlier and I'm thinking, wow, things have changed, you know, dramatically in 11 weeks.
Well, as our colleague Tim Moore said, the opposite results in each of these 6 games is quite possible this weekend.
Yeah. The first game, Peninsula Power versus Wk FC, not as only is it possible, but I think it's inevitable. There is surely no way Wk can beat Peninsula twice in the season.
Not in current form, no.
No, I don't think so. Not. And again, like I said before, last week's win for Peninsula is going to give them massive, massive confidence going forward now. Yeah,
I don't think UQ will survive on a big pitch, to be honest. They like to defend, and if they can't keep it tight, they're in trouble. Logan Lightning versus Eastern Suburbs at Cornubia Park. Of course, in the first game, Logan surprised everyone. Everyone thought East were going to be, you know, contenders with Lions for the title. Logan won. It's a bit of a strange situation. Logan are kind of almost favourites, maybe? I don't know.
It's very even. I don't know. It's hard to pick both of these sides' forms from week to week, really.
What do you think, mate?
Look, personally, I think East have to start winning at some point. They're too good a side to be where they are, and they had something similar last year.
But we've been saying that already this year. It has to happen at some point.
And maybe the pressure's off a little bit now. They can, you know, they just all they got to do is just game by game. They got good players there at the end of the day. So no, I'm backing them to win that one.
Yeah, Rafe?
East.
Yeah, I'm going to go for a draw. I don't like going for draws, but I just suspect there's going to be a draw down there. Mitchelton versus Holland Park Hawks. Now, this really is an important game, particularly for Mitchelton, because they need to stay on the tail of Holland Park Hawks. And if they lose this, they could easily drop out of the 4. And it's harder to get back into the 4 than to stay in the 4 this season, I believe. I'm going to tip Holland Park to go to Mitchelton and win that one, because I just think they've got too many guns.
Yeah, look, from my point of view, I'd like to see both sides drop points in the draw there, but something tells me that Holland Park's going to win this game. I just feel there's a bit of momentum their way, so I'll tip them as well.
Yeah, I think there's momentum.
And this is our feature game on the TV this week. I'll go with Holland Park as well.
Oh, we're all going for Holland Park. The next game, Albany Creek versus Ipswich Knights, which doesn't have a lot of bearing on things at the moment, but look, Ipswich Knights, unfortunate to lose to Peninsula last week. They didn't have a lot of possession and the statistics were against them, but they like to play that way. So Albany Creek, they've still got Piddock and Ravesh and Morris out. They may have Miller back, but for me, it's Ipswich Knights, even at Walter Park.
Yeah, both those sides were good against us. They play well, so it's a tough one for me. I might just stick my neck out and say Albany Creek on that one.
Okay. You got friends up there, have you?
Friends everywhere.
Got friends everywhere. I knew that was coming.
Yeah, both teams on 11 points in 9th and 10th. Whoever loses here, the nail's in the coffin.
Yeah,
the
nail's in the coffin.
Final 4. Yeah. I'll tip Ipswich Knights.
Yeah, neither side's going to get relegated just because there are other teams that are going to get relegated in the club championship. Next game is Capalaba versus North Pine. North Pine, a raft of players gone. Capalaba, I believe, I'm not sure, but I believe Andy Thompson will be back. So they will have their full side, and this could be a real look-away special for me. I think Bellbowrie could win this by 5 or 6 goals, and Hamid Azawi could shoot straight to the top of the goal-scoring charts on his own.
Well, we had Herf on the other week who really lamented the loss in the first round, so I think that might be an inspiration enough, and I'm sure that'll be said in the dressing room prior. So, yeah, look, Bellbowrie probably too strong in this one.
You're going Bellbowrie, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so.
The Northbound are in trouble from here. I really strongly believe that they're gone already. But
there are almost 100 points that they've got to make up, and that's just too many now.
Yeah. Oh well, the game of the weekend. Lions. Are we filming this one?
Yes, we are.
Oh, thank God. Lions FC versus Rochdale Rovers, and of course it's the bromance derby.
Yep.
You boys back together again?
Yeah, yeah.
Cuddly, isn't it? There'll be no arguing on the sidelines?
No, we're too far away on the benches at Lions.
Treating each other. Well, that's true, yes.
Yeah, tough one.
The lead-in for yourself is not ideal. You've got the midweek match, well, obviously kicking off in about an hour and 13 minutes. That's 1 day's less preparation, Rochdale. Do you think that'll make a difference?
Not really, no. No, look, I don't think it'll matter too much. We certainly won't make any excuses. It's like I said, we're preparing ourselves for the next 4 or 5 weeks, and it starts tonight and on Sunday against Rochdale. So we just need to go out and play and be good enough. If we are, great.
Yeah, well, that's right. Look, it's for me, it's the midweek curse doesn't exist because you both played. You know, so I don't know. Look, if Rochdale played like they did last night, they can beat you. No question for me. If they play like they did last night.
Yeah, I said to Scotty today, he's favourites for that one already.
Oh,
so,
yeah, I'm sure
you play like that, beat the NPL champions, and you deserve to be favourites against the BPL champions.
We'll see what happens when the betting agencies come out on Sunday. I suspect it might not be quite the case. What do you think? Do you have an opinion there, right? You're very quiet tonight. Are you shy, embarrassed or something?
I'm just in the background. I'm fine.
Yeah.
I'm happy.
Yeah.
Look, before I get to a tip, it's a big day out at Lions Stadium
Yeah.
on Sunday with the Starlight Foundation fundraiser. So do get along and support that cause. It's a great day that Lions have put on for that. And what an even better spectacle it should be on the park. I'll tip Lions,
You're going to tip Lions.
but they'll be very close. Very close.
I'm just going to assume that Rochdale are going to play as good as they did last night, and I'm going to tip Rochdale. So there you go. I'm going to have the guts to go with it. If they do play like they did last night, they can win it. And I think it's going to be a great game. I think it's going to be much better than the first game of the year. And, they'll be up for it. They'll have a belief in themselves, and they have got plenty of quality players around the park. And Uryu Nagata is going to do a very good job of shutting down your strikers there, Warren, I believe.
A quick look at the Capital League. First of all, one result from last week where South beat Taringa.
1-0.
Big result.
And they're playing North Star this weekend, which is going to be a massive game.
And another big game in Capital 4.
Yes.
St George Willawong hosting Samford.
Oh, is this weekend?
Yes.
Well, I haven't got that far yet. I haven't got my previews.
Same time as Lions versus Rochdale.
Oh, it is?
Yes.
Oh, well, I know where I'm going. We're filming Lions Rochdale. So, yes, and there was another very, very important Capital League result in Wolves FC 1, Centenary Stormers 2. And, of course, Wolves might change things around a bit now that they have a certain Mr. Dykeman coaching.
How many shirts would he have in his cupboard from all the different clubs he's been
about
to?
60, I reckon. Thanks for being on the show again, Mooney.
Yep, pleasure, boys. Thanks for having me.
You're a regular guest these days. I've been Phil Davis, the so-called expert. You've been Rafe Griffin.
I have been, but I've been very quiet apparently. So next week I shall atone for that.
Yes, we're really looking forward to the game tonight. There's a crowd building. It's looking like a lot of fun. If you get out to the game, enjoy yourself, or get out to games on the weekend, and we will talk to you next week. Cheerio.